Okay, hi. I wanted to give an update on my Ar15 chambered in 9 millimeter, um, which I think makes it an Ar9 now. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it sounds cool. Uh, yeah, I said I put a piece of tubing in the buffer spring, and I wanted to show you that and give you a length on that real quick, and just so you guys know what to cut it at right away. So as you can see, when I pull this thing out, and then the piece of tubing just stays in there when it's kind of new. When it gets smashed a little bit, then it stays in the spring. But yeah, it just goes in just like that. I just shove it in there, and it's pretty much the same exact size. And it's just let's see, I just cut it off another piece of, this is just fuel line or radiator hose. It's what, 3/8 or half inch or whatever. Whatever size the outside diameter is, the same as the buffer. So yeah, and it gives a little bit more cushion, being kind of spongy. So, but I never have any problems with my bolt catch breaking anymore because it snapped right off before I put that piece in, and I couldn't do the quarters because this thing is just too tight. So I mean, I literally, this is the same charging handle, and you can see it's just a little tweaked maybe, and I I bent it back. It was really bad. I mean, it was bad, but it works good. So it doesn't, this isn't like a home defense weapon or anything that I got. I mean, it's reliable enough. I could, but I got a 223, a shorter 223 that I use for that. That's even more reliable than this. So yeah, here. See, when I pull it back and do the bolt catch, there's like virtually no play in there to pull it back. So 1.25 inches, that's what it is. And so you know about that. Um, I had someone ask me about my flash hider here. It's basically a steel flash hider, and I did this because I wanted a 16-inch barrel or a 14.5-inch barrel, and I was trying to make this as cheap as possible. So one came up. It was like really cheap. What is It was like $60, $75. It was so cheap I couldn't pass it up. So I got the shorter barrel, which is like 11 inches, and then this is 5.5 inches, and then I drilled, pinned it, welded it, and I used green Loctite, because sometimes when you pin them, they just, I don't use a washer in there when I tighten it up, because it just doesn't look as good for me. I don't know. So I just used green Loctite, drilled it, pinned it, and welded it, and then painted over it. On the bottom, you can't even see it. So it's the whole barrel length is 16 1/8. So it's all legal in Illinois, and we can actually SBR in Illinois now, because all we need is a relics and collector's license, which is like $30, and then you can go ahead and go through that. Was it a Form 1 or something? Through the federal government, pay your $200, have the sheriff sign off on it, or the local police, and whoever you can get to sign off on it. And then, 6 months later, you can have an SBR, but I don't know if I'm even going to do that, but I might. So I did that, the buffer tube. Then on all my lowers, I do that little Allen screw trick that takes all the creep and the pull length out of the triggers. I just got that. It's like 48 cents at Menards. I just buy them in like half a dozen at a time or whatever. And I actually have to tap all the threads all the way up in the lowers. And then I took out a lot of the creep that was in this thing. So before, it was like you pull the trigger back and back and back, and then it would go. So I didn't like that. So now it's like a quarter of what it was, and it's really nice. I could probably do it some more, but I'd have to file either the back of the trigger down or the uh, release or the safety um, to get it to so the trigger can go pull it back a little bit more when you screw it in. I could probably go another half turn, get a little bit more out of it, make it like a hair trigger. But okay, well, so that's all I really do to that. I wanted to give a little update on what kind of ammo I was using. I remember I said that the Tula ammo I would get fail to feed once in a while, and it is. It's the Tula ammo, the lacquer, the polymer they're spraying it with. When this thing gets hot, once in a while a round will go in and it'll get sticky and won't go all the way in. Now, yeah, I showed in the last video that I put a couple notches in my bolt, and you know what? I got to use it. I went like that. I hit that sucker. It chambered all the way. I hit the trigger, fired off. That was after I ran about 200 or 175, 200 rounds of brass, and I ran out of my reloads, and then I just started using that cheap Tula stuff, and yeah, none of the reloads got sticky, just the one Tula, and then I ran it for 20, 30 rounds more with the Tula, and it never did it again. But I did make some low velocity reloads, some like really low velocity reloads. I mean, it was shooting like I didn't even have to use my headphone or the earmuffs. It was like a 22 shooting, but it was still cycling this thing great. It was throwing the brass like 10, 15 foot out still. So, so the low velocity stuff in this type of bolt will work fine. Now, if you get a direct impingement one, I don't think it would work. And I didn't have anybody that was shooting with me try the low velocity loads in their Glocks or anything. So I don't know if it would have cycled something like that. But the low velocity worked great. I ran some regular loads, and then I ran a few plus P loads in this, and it shot really loud and really hard, and it handled it just fine, and the brass looked fine. It didn't flatten out the primers or anything. So this gun handles every type of ammo. Tula's a little sticky once it's warm. When it's cold, the Tula stuff runs fine. So, you probably see I put this on. It probably looks like it's on backwards, but when I grab the gun, I like to just, bring it up. And that's what I like about the Ar15s is you can just customize it any way you want, and they're awesome. This gun is reliable. It's really accurate. Everybody that shot it, they didn't have to look through the sight or anything weird or anything, and they were shooting it out to 200 yards, and this thing was hitting a 12-inch gong at 200 yards consistently, and we were hitting like 2-inch at 50 yards, and this thing was just nailing it. I mean, and I don't think anybody even missed. I mean, you put the dot on it, and it shoots it. So if that helps out anybody with who wants to build a really cheap Ar9 and not have any problems with cycling or issues with breakage or anything like that, I hope these videos I made on this gun helps. All right, thanks for watching.